Hello, back again on the Top Recap channel. This time I will tell a movie's entitled Chief of Station. Let's get straight into the storyline. The story begins by showing a senior CIA agent, Ben, conducting a secret mission. On this mission, he was accompanied by his subordinate, John Branca, who oversaw a secret information transaction carried out by an informant. The informant is seen carrying an envelope containing important documents, and according to John's investigation, this informant comes from Turkey, who often buys and sells confidential state data. Besides the two of them, several Russian agents watched the informant's movements. Unfortunately, the informant moved quickly and passed the envelope on to someone else. The agents immediately chased him, but the agents were unsuccessful because the envelope had already been given to the last person, who immediately left the place. After the informant ran away, Ben approached a Russian agent named Evgeny, who turned out to be Ben's old friend, who had worked together 20 years before. After talking to each other and recalling the missions they had carried out together, Ben said goodbye because he had to celebrate his wife's wedding anniversary. Hearing this, Evgeny congratulated him. In the evening, Ben went to the hotel to meet his wife, Farah. They planned to move to another place because Farah has booked a place elsewhere. But when they were about to leave, suddenly, there was a big explosion that killed many hotel visitors, including Farah. Ben, who saw Farah become a victim, could not hide his sadness. 6 months later, Ben decided to take a break from the CIA, and now he is trying hard to move on, but he is always haunted by the death of his wife. Farah's shadow fills his head even when he is shopping at the supermarket. Currently, the only family Ben has is his son Nick, but Nick is traveling to Europe and rarely answers his phone. As a result, Ben is forced to feel lonely for a long time. On the other hand, it was revealed that Nick was not traveling for vacation, but meeting his new girlfriend in Croatia. It seems that he doesn't really care about his father since his mother died. The next day, Ben visits Farah's grave to remember and pray for his wife to be at peace in heaven. Then, he and his lawyer went to the CIA office to discuss his wife's death. Here, it is revealed that Farah was a CIA agent like Ben, so it is likely that her death was related to the mission that was carried out at that time. In the middle of the conversation, an agent shows a photo of a Russian agent named Karen, who has a history as a killer who has slaughtered dozens of NATO agents to collect important information from the countries that are members of it. And according to the CIA, Farah had betrayed and collaborated with Karen. Ben, who heard the explanation about his wife, became very angry because his wife was a very loyal person to the country. After leaving the room, he met a CIA deputy named William. Here, he guarantees that the CIA will definitely help Ben in the case of Farah's death. He also suggests that Ben register Nick with the CIA because his son is very good at IT, but this senior agent doesn't want to jeopardize his son's life. Meanwhile, on the other hand, his lawyer began to suspect that Farah was killed by the CIA because, from his gesture, the CIA agent seemed to be keeping something secret. However, Ben did not want to accuse before there was evidence. After returning from the CIA Marcus, he returned to investigate cases that might have a connection with his wife's death. But of all the cases, there was not a single clear clue. At this point, he began to feel that his wife's death was indeed an accident. Ben returned to the CIA office the next day and met with Farah's former assistant. Then, the agent helped him find clues about people related to Farah during his time as a CIA agent, ranging from hackers of the Hungarian Anti-Terrorist Agency and the Polish Intelligence Agency to the Estonian National Security Agency. But among all these agents, only one person is still active: Karen. According to Farah's assistant, Karen is very suspicious, and it seems that the Russians are also involved in the hotel bombing case that caused Farah to die. But Ben is still trying to be positive thinking because he is well acquainted with the head of the Russian agent, who is none other than Evgeny. After collecting the data needed, Ben went home and checked all the data, including reading all the emails received by his late wife. In between reading, he was contacted by Nick. Here, his only son apologizes for acting like a disobedient child. Nick is also finally honest that he is with his girlfriend in Croatia, and his plan is to marry his girlfriend because he believes that this woman is his soulmate. Hearing that, Ben could understand, but before the phone was hung up, he advised Nick to take care of himself while in Croatia. As the night wore on, Ben thought back to his wife. Farah gifted him a necklace a month before her death, so Ben would never forget her. Here, she behaves a little strangely, as if she already knows she will die soon. After remembering those moments, Ben suddenly got an idea to go to the city of Budapest, which was the place where Farah died. Once there, he immediately contacted John, who was none other than his former subordinate. Then, the two of them made an appointment to meet at the restaurant. Long story short, they finally met and exchanged news. In addition, John condoled Farah's death and apologized for not being able to attend her funeral. In the middle of the conversation, Ben said that his wife might have been killed by certain parties. However, according According to John, the hotel explosion was not caused by a bomb, but by an accident in the hotel kitchen. And so far, there is no evidence to suggest that the explosion was premeditated. In addition, he also suggested that Ben let go of his wife and focus more on spending time taking care of Nick. Even so, Ben will not stop until the truth is revealed. In the end, he decides to return to the hotel where Farah died. While remembering the tragic incident, he was determined to investigate this case. After lamenting his grief, he went to a secret CIA headquarters in the city that became his wife's base camp every time he went on a mission in Europe. There, Farah's superiors said that Farah was wearing a fake wedding ring on the day of her death because she had just completed a secret mission, and it turned out that the ring contained nanotechnology and GPS. According to the investigation of the CIA's secret division, the bomber hacked the GPS, and it seems that Evgeny was the person who hacked it. Hearing this, Ben was very angry and did not expect that his wife was killed by his own good friend. Before he went to meet Evgeny, Farah's boss gave him his wife's belongings, which might help Ben in the investigation. It didn't take long before Ben finally managed to track down Evgeny's whereabouts, who was at a party. Seeing Ben's arrival, Evgeny was surprised, as if he had seen a ghostly figure. Without much ado, Ben immediately mentioned the death of his wife. This made Evgeny feel accused of being a murderer. Because he did not accept it, he ordered his subordinates to expel him on the spot. As a result, Ben has no choice but to fight back. Ben could have slaughtered them all, but he chose to control his emotions. Just as he was about to threaten Evgeny, one of the Russian agents appeared from behind and immediately hit Ben. It wasn't long before Ben realized he was tied up. Here, Evgeny could not understand Ben's careless actions, even though when he became a field agent, he was the most competent person compared to other agents. Evgeny then calmed Ben by releasing his bonds. Besides that, he also said that the mastermind of Farah's murder was not him. If Benjamin had thought clearly, he would have found the real culprit soon. After that, he showed photos of active agents who had been killed over the past few months, and one of the agents was Farah. Besides the photos, he also showed the CCTV footage of the hotel on the night of the bombing. In the video, there was a former Russian agent who looked suspicious, but according to Evgeny, the agent had betrayed his division and was working for someone else. But just as he was about to continue his explanation, they were attacked by a group of hitmen. Fortunately, John managed to help him get out of there. Then, in the car, he told Ben that the troops who attacked him were an army of killers belonging to the FSB, aka the Russian intelligence agency. Because of this incident, Ben is very sure that his wife was killed by the Russians. What is clear is that the person has no connection with Evgeny. Realizing this, he was very sad about the death of his best friend. Meanwhile, Nick was seen relaxing in his house. But not long ago, he was surprised by the arrival of 3 armed men who claimed to be CIA agents. They then forced him to go somewhere without telling him the reason. Because he was threatened, Nick was forced to obey their orders. On the way, one of the agents explained that Ben and his family were being targeted by Russian agents. Therefore, the CIA sent them to protect Nick. Soon, they arrived at an empty building known as a safe house owned by the CIA. However, for some reason, Nick felt something was wrong with the agents' movements. Moreover, they did not want to say where his father's location was now, and for fear of being framed, he chose to escape. However, the agents were much stronger than him, and as a result, he was caught very easily. Meanwhile, elsewhere, John took Ben to a ship that was his hiding place all this time. While sailing, John tells the results of the investigation from his team regarding the troops who killed Evgeny. They are not Russian agents, but hitmen hired by a company called Wagner Group. And after further investigation, the company is eyeing secret information previously hidden by Farah. From that explanation, Ben finally understood why his wife was killed. Then John took him to a room to show him something. But when he got there, 3 people were waiting for him. It turns out that one of them is Karen. Seeing that Ben did not think that John had betrayed him. Not only that, it is also revealed that John is the mastermind behind Farah's murder, as well as the one who sent 3 agents to arrest Nick. Even though the CIA has been very confident that the mastermind is Karen, it turns out the Russian agent is just a pawn. John then ordered Karen to tie Ben to a chair. After this, he interrogated him about the secret data hidden by Farah. John even had the heart to torture Ben with his own hands. Fed up because Ben didn't want to open his mouth, he finally told Karen to torture him more cruelly. Meanwhile, he will go to finish off Nick. Despite being tortured, Ben still looks strong. He can still threaten back, and of course, this makes Karen look very upset. But when he was about to beat Ben, someone attacked him. Apparently, the person who had just paralyzed Karen was an agent named Christina. This woman is the enemy of Farah's killers, but she didn't say where she came from. Without thinking, she immediately untied Ben and ran away while finishing off the ship guards. Unfortunately, Karen got back up and confronted Ben. Like it or not, he had to fight with Karen. After killing Karen, Benjamin and Christina left using the lifeboat. Before explaining what really happened, Christina introduced herself first. In addition, she said that Farah was her best friend, and that now she would help Ben and Nick get out of the dangerous situation. Then she asks Ben to show her the necklace Farah gave him, because it turns out that the necklace contains a secret key to get into a place. After that, Christina took him to the place in question. On the way, Christina explains that Farah died because of her last mission, where she tried to uncover the money laundering process at the Russian central bank. When she managed to obtain evidence of the crime, she discovered that many countries, including America and Russia, were involved. During the investigation process, Farah was assisted by several informants, but they were all killed, and only Christina survived. In addition to explaining the failed mission, Christina also said that Farah deliberately did not tell Ben because she did not want to involve her family. On the other hand, we are shown the figure of Karen, who is still alive. Before taking revenge on Ben, he came to Nick and told him that he was one of the people who had killed his mother. Knowing that makes Nick very angry, and he wants revenge, but unfortunately, he can't do it. Meanwhile, Ben and Christina arrive at a secret location known only to agents. Ben then opens one of the rooms with his necklace. Inside, Ben found a photo of Christina and Farah, who looked like two friends. It turns out that Farah was once a Polish military prisoner with Christina before meeting Ben. At that time, Farah had just carried out her first mission at the CIA, while Christina was a new agent at GROM, the Polish intelligence agency. Since that incident, Farah has secretly befriended her to become a double agent for the CIA and GROM. Of course, this surprised Ben. Ben also felt guilty for letting his wife bear a very heavy burden. Not long after, he found a laptop containing evidence of the crimes of John, Karen, and all his men, including the Wagner Group company. It contained information about their money laundering bank accounts. And to make matters worse, William was also involved in the crime. Knowing that the CIA deputy was working on money laundering upset Ben because he had been his subordinate for 20 years. Not only that, but William is also listed as one of the owners of the Wagner Group. Without lingering, he immediately contacted John and offered a deal. If he wanted Farah's confidential data, then he had to let Nick go. Before meeting John, Benjamin sent Farah's assistant a copy of the data. Ben asked the CIA agent to investigate all the documents in it. It wasn't long before Ben finally arrived at the exchange location. Meanwhile, Christina will be the sniper and watch from a distance. Benjamin then made the exchange as promised, but John broke the agreement and ordered his troops to kill Ben and Nick. Seeing that Christina did not remain silent and immediately killed all of John's troops. When John runs out of ammunition, Ben returns to take Farah's laptop and then leaves with Nick. Not staying silent, John and Karen immediately chase Ben. The chase stopped when John's car flipped over. Ben and Nick then got out of the car to make sure that John and Karen were dead. However, all that was seen was Karen trying to get out of the car. Nick, who was still upset, then fired a bomb and killed Karen. After that, they both went to pick up Christina, but John, who was still alive, confronted them instead. Ben was forced to fight against John. After defeating John, Ben called one of John's men. Here, he pardoned the man and asked him to be a witness in court. Then he forced John into the car to be taken to the CIA office. Before leaving, Ben said goodbye to Christina and did not forget to thank her for her help. Next, he called Farah's assistant and told her to expose William's crimes so that everyone would know he was a corrupt official. The next day, the news went viral, and in the end, everyone knows that William is the figure behind the Wagner Group, who hired a hitman to kill his own agent. As a result, William felt humiliated, especially when he was holding a meeting with other officials. In the middle of the event, a man entered while applauding, and unexpectedly, he was Evgeny, who turned out to be alive. Since this money laundering case concerns Russian banks, he has the right to arrest William and all his men. On the other hand, Ben was relieved after William was arrested and thrown into an international prison. Not long after, Nick and his girlfriend approached him and asked for his blessing to get married. Ben was very happy with Nick's decision. In addition, he is in a good mood because he has just been appointed head of intelligence operations and will be assigned to France. And the movie is over. Don't forget to click subscribe, like, and comment.